Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
We are opening up a case with an investigation with regard to the suspected activities involving the 48 migrants from Venezuela that, as we understand it at this point, the facts of the case at this point, are that on Wednesday, September 14th, here in Bexar County in the city of San Antonio, our understanding is that a Venezuelan migrant was paid what we would call a bird dog fee to recruit approximately 50 migrants from the area around a migrant resource center on San Pedro here in San Antonio. As we understand it, 48 migrants were lured, I will use the word lured, under false pretenses into staying at a hotel for a couple of days. They were taken by airplane. At a certain point, they were shuttled to an airplane where they were flown to Florida and then eventually flown to Martha's Vineyard, again, under false pretenses is the information that we have, that they were promised work, they were promised the solution to several of their problems. They were taken to Martha's Vineyard from what we can gather for little more than a photo op, video op, and then they were unceremoniously stranded in Martha's Vineyard. What infuriates me the most about this case is that here we have 48 people that are already on hard times, right? They are here legally in our country at that point. They have every right to be where they are. And I believe that they were preyed upon. Somebody came from out of state, preyed upon these people, lured them with promises of a better life, which is what they were absolutely looking for, with the knowledge that they were going to cling to whatever hope they could be offered for a better life, to just be exploited and hoodwinked into making this trip to Florida and then onward to Martha's Vineyard for what I believe to be nothing more than political posturing to make a point.
Oh, my God. So it's kidnapping, everybody. It is kidnapping. That is Javier Salazar. He is the sheriff of Bexar, Texas, which is San Antonio. Bexar is a county. It's spelled with an X, but the X is silent. Okay. Anyway, so Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar has opened up an investigation into the luring, the disingenuous, the lying to asylum seekers who have every right to be here so that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis could have a photo op using human beings as chattel. You know what Ron DeSantis has done there? He messed with Texas. Don't mess with Texas, Ron. Don't mess with Texas. It does sort of set your mind reeling into, is Greg Abbott trying to knock Ron DeSantis off the presidential playing field? Is Stephen Miller trying to knock Ron DeSantis off the playing field? I mean, like, what is the backstory on this? All I could tell you is that the human beings who were lured, this is really interesting because on Fox News, Jonathan Turley, who we were talking about yesterday, and how he has gone off the deep end in order to secure, an analyst paycheck from Fox News as a legal analyst, said, well, there's no federal crime against DeSantis without evidence.
So the Democrats, they are calling for a legal case against DeSantis, saying that what he is doing is unlawful. Do they have a case?
I don't see a case unless they can establish some systemic coercion or fraud. There's really not a federal crime here.
Okay, so we need evidence of coercion or fraud.
These migrants were flown by DeSantis to Massachusetts from Texas, not from Florida, which Democrats say is a violation of state law.
It is.
Meanwhile, over the weekend, the president of the League of United Latin American Citizens, or LULAC, traveled to Massachusetts and spoke with a few of the migrants who shared similar stories of a mysterious operative named Perla, who lured the migrants onto the plane with false promises of employment. LULAC is now offering a $5,000 reward for information about this woman known as Perla. Judd Legum, who writes a news Substack called Popular Info, obtained a copy of a brochure that was provided to the migrants before they boarded the planes.
Oh.
The brochure says that migrants who arrive in Massachusetts will be eligible for numerous benefits, including 8 months cash assistance, assistance with housing, food, clothing, transportation to job interviews, job training, job placement, registering children for school, assistance applying for Social Security cards, and many other benefits. None of which is true, because they are still in the process of seeking asylum.
I think that's evidence. That's what I would call that brochure. I would call that evidence of lying to asylum seekers in order to get them on a plane, to lure them to an awaiting aircraft so that Ron death sentence can have himself a little photo op. Okay, so now everybody is starting to understand what we've been saying since day one about this publicity stunt, about how evil and ugly and vile and, cruel this was. How cruel this was.